Far Cry 5 is insane. I got the chance to sit down with the game's creative director, Dan, to chat about the game's setting, the controversial choice to center the game around a Christian cult leader, and some other things you're just gonna have to watch the video to find out. It's all coming up right after the intro. Roll it. Hey guys, Charles Powers here with Dan Hay, creative director behind Far Cry 5. Dan, dude, I've played a little bit of the game, and I'm so excited. Having played previous Far Cries, our community had a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions. But first of all, thank you so much for giving us your time to talk to us about the game. Okay, so let's. Can you give us like a quick overview of Far Cry 5, where we are, and just like a quick, just like bullet through it?
Sure. If you know nothing about Far Cry 5, first thing we're doing is we're taking it to the States. And we're taking it to our version of Montana, a place called Hope County, where you kind of go into this place that maybe you feel like you know, but it's been taken over by this cult. And it's got this magnetic leader who believes that the end of the world is coming, and basically has kind of closed off this Hope County, this place that we built. And now you go in there and you got to basically deal with it. So that's basically Hope County in a nutshell.
Okay, so I know that you guys are very eager to put the game in our hands. We are very eager to play the game. But I want to touch really quick on the delay. Can you tell us a little bit about what you guys are polishing? I mean, it's only a month, so there's really no reason for us to fret, right?
No, I mean, the thing is that when you see a delay that's like that short, it's just about putting the polish on and making sure that everything is nuanced and feels good. And the thing is that this is such a generous world. We wanted to make sure that it was easy for you to fall into it. So, it was a question of, are we going to put out something that's good or something that's great? And we want great.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the world. Can you give us an idea of just the scope? I mean, playing the game, just well, first of all, we already know that this game is going to have an amazing ecosystem just based on previous Far Cry titles. So can you tell us a little bit about that scope?
Sure. Well, you played it today, and like you got about an hour and a half to play it, an hour to play it, and you just got a little taste of it, right? So at E3, we showed people Hope County, and that's just the sense of Hope County, but also just Falls End, just that town. And now you're out there and you're able to sort of look at the entire region that's John's. And I think if you were to play just that region, if we had you staying here for a couple of days, you could probably get maybe 10 to 14 hours of story time in there, plus another 30 hours of open world, but that's just one region. There's 3 in its entirety. So the game is huge, it's expansive, it's designed for you to just kind of fall into it. And the thing is that it's not prescriptive. You don't, a lot of times I'll get asked, okay, what do I do next? And it's like, I mean, just go. So we wanted to make it feel like real life and fill it with characters that didn't have all the information, right? You go up to somebody and they think, oh, this is what's happening in Jacobs, or this is what happens in Faith, and they're not sure. But it feels very real, and that those characters could join you or not, and you get to pick. Play the game the way you want.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I know. I did not know what to do. I was looking around like, okay, I see all these missions. I see all these people to talk to. I see all these notes that I can go and take a look at. So let me ask you this. How did you guys settle on Montana of all places? How can you kind of give us some insight as to like how that came about?
Yeah, it was a weird one because, honestly, the first time we say Montana, everybody's like, Montana, what the hell? Right? But I think that, Far Cry has a pedigree of kind of going to places people don't expect. If you think at the end of Far Cry 3, we put out Blood Dragon and everybody was like, what? Nobody saw that coming. And then Far Cry 4, we went over to the Himalayas, and then we were thinking about, what do we want to do next? And then all of a sudden Primal comes out and it's completely different and nobody was expecting that. And so we really have this history of being able to say, look, let's throw out some ideas, let's look at it, and then let's see if it's something that somebody could see coming. And so we were in a room, and I vaguely remember sort of the brainstorming session. And we're like, we know we want to go to the States. And then somebody's like, where should we go? And then somebody threw out Montana, and somebody else went, Montana? I know nothing about Montana. We're like, wait a minute, that's a good thing, right? So we started to look into it, and what was really interesting about Montana is that it's a frontier, and it still has the rugged beauty that we want in Far Cry, but it's also a little bit removed, and it's got people that live there that really don't want to be messed with. They want to be left alone, kind of away from the prying eyes of the government, and we thought that's a perfect recipe for Far Cry.
I love that you call back to previous titles. So I want to know, previous Far Cry titles have always had antagonists that really stood out. I mean, you're talking about Voss, you're talking about Pagan Min. So can you tell us a little bit about what we can expect here in this game, because we already know that we're in some like crazy stuff.
Right. So I think that, yeah, you think about Voss. Voss was very physical, and Pagan Min was a unique and interesting character. I mean, he was a ruler, and nobody said no to this guy. And so what we wanted to do is take a look at that we'd built before, those characters that we'd built before, and grow them and say, okay, how do we make it so that it's believable that this person could be in America? How do we believe that they could have that same magnetic feeling that Voss has? And as soon as we kind of stumbled onto the idea of a cult and the gravitas of this person bringing you in, the thing that we needed to believe, though, is that the devil's in the details here. It's got to be a good, like, the writing has to be great, the acting has to be great, the actor is key, right? And you have to lean into it where you've got the actor who can also contribute to it, and you can't just say, you got to be able to say yes to everything. So, you know, we had this, we basically put up this casting for this actor, and what I really wanted to be able to say was, make it believable that whoever this actor is, that after 5 minutes of watching it, I believe that they could convince me to join their cult. And we have this guy that we met named Greg Brick. The guy's an incredible actor, and he sent in his stuff. And the guys were like, Dan, come over, check this out, look at it. We put it on, and after 2 minutes, I was like, yeah, I believe it. If this guy told me to go do something, I think I might do it. It was perfect. And that's what we got.
Okay, that's awesome. One last question. So, you know, I know there's been a lot of talk and a lot of articles and a lot of videos about the setting choice, right? The fact that you guys are doing something very different. You guys are taking something that's very close to home, not just in the setting, but also in the fact that you're talking about, you know, a Christian cult. Given today's like political and social climate, how do you guys hope this will be received by, you know, by the gaming audience?
I think that, you know, we were really careful to make sure that we build our version of Montana, right? And what we did with our cult is we said that they kind of steal from different religions. They're kind of hijacking this stuff. And so when the Father talks, he talks with a rhetoric of snacking on different things and then turning it into kind of his own thing. And what we really did is focus on one person, a very, very simple idea that the Father believes that the end of times is coming. He believes that we've gotten close to the edge before, and that humanity isn't mature enough to know when it's actually going to happen. And he just has this idea that when the time comes, he's got to save as many people as he can, whether they want to be saved or not. And that was powerful to put into a character that harkened back to Voss and Pagan Min.
Awesome. Well, Dan, I am so excited. I had such a blast playing the game. I actually cannot wait to play more. So thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Cheers.
No problem. That was my chat with Dan. Be sure to subscribe to the Game Fanatics YouTube channel because you don't want to miss the next video where I chat with Phil, the game's producer. We talk loot boxes and the mechanics in Far Cry 5. I'm Charles Powers. Thanks for giving me a few minutes of your time today. You can follow me on Twitter, Mr. Charles Powers. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep calm and game on.